Several people have asked about the specifics on the pusher units of the soybean planter in some of the earlier videos, and finally got kind of a rain delay where the planter is accessible in the back of the shed to try to snap a video here and get some dimensions on things. The light isn't the best because it's trying to storm again, but basically this is kind of how the setup works. The parallel linkage is just flipped backwards, so this would normally be the back of the toolbar, this would be the front of the row unit. There's angle irons welded onto the toolbar to give you your mounting points for those, and then there's a metal box that is 16 inches center to center for the bolts that mounts on where your insecticide structure would have originally been to move that all forward. So the structure here is all 1/4 inch plate except the depth stops are 3/8. And it's about 17 3/4 long, 10 1/2 tall, and then notched out to give you a little bit more clearance above the gauge wheels. The structure in the middle to kind of stiffen everything up is 8 inches across the top, 6 inches on the bottom, and the vertical is 5 1/2. This is 1 inch down from the top, and that vertical is 6 1/2 from the back of the plate to the vertical piece. Having the narrow piece on the bottom, I think, is to give you better access for the seed tubes, which this one doesn't currently have a sensor in it, and also so that you can see the depth setting on the back of the row units. The planter itself is an 8-row in-transport that Dad kind of combined with pieces off of a 12-row. So he got the PTO pump and the double modules from the 12-row. Mounted them on the 8-row, raised up a little bit, and then used some of the row units off that 12-row for the pushers on the front, and then the odd row in the center on the back gives you your 15-row, 15-inch. And then also being a little bit narrower allows you to move the markers inboard, which we were always able to sneak around our fields being this width, but probably would not work for everyone. The monitor was a custom harness from Sensor 1, and that always worked beautifully. The main downsides to the setup are that there's a lot of weight on the original wheels, the 4 original tires, and the front row units hang a little bit low, although not quite as bad as it looks here because it's on the depth stops rather than raised all the way up on the hydraulics. But that's pretty much the setup. Hope it helps somebody.